All right, the one thing I got right in the preview for this game was that I said I was going to absolutely be wrong in whatever I picked for this game. I picked Texas to cover. I sprinkled Texas to win a little bit this game. Yeah, nope, Marquette, superstar performance. Don't ever let me forget that Marquette is a great basketball team again.
Yeah, I somewhat tried to tell you that this is a great spot for Marquette to be in. Playing against a team that I don't think is to the level that they are going to be at this point. Also, maybe a conversation that needs to be had. Will this Texas team even reach that level? We'll get there later in this recap. But great spot for Marquette, playing at home, bounce back spot, Shaka against his old school. They need to feel good and have a dominant win like this after, say what you want, Cole Center, Voodoo, or whatever. That's a game I think they should win, and they're good enough to win. So this is a really good win for Marquette. It was dominant. Like, when they are like this and playing and hitting on all cylinders, dangerous team. There's teams that hit on all cylinders and you could still beat them. We watched that North Carolina game last night. I think North Carolina could hit on all cylinders, and there's teams that can out-cylinder them. Marquette can be one of those teams. Kolek was special. Oso's good. Cam Jones is good. All those guys play very extremely hard. I mean, it's impressive. It was a good reminder game, I think, for folks that maybe started to waver on Marquette a little bit.
No, you know what it was. It was the best backcourt in the country being the best backcourt in the country. And I know that's a term that's going to get under your skin a little bit. That's a term that's going to get under a lot of people's skin. But here's the simple truth, Cart. I haven't unveiled. This is a new bit that I'm doing. I'm doing this live for the first time, but this is a bit that I'm going to be doing the whole rest of the season. There's 20 best backcourts in the country. It's just any given night, they need to be the best backcourt in the country. This was the best backcourt in the country. And then tomorrow, there's going to be a different best backcourt in the country. But for tonight, Tyler Kolek and Cam Jones were the best backcourt in the country, and they can claim that title. They were incredible.
So we need to start one of those Twitter. You seen those Twitter accounts? It's like, did the Pistons win? Did this team win? We need to start a Twitter account at did the best backcourt in the country win tonight.
Yeah, we can do that. Just know, like, it's always going to be a yes, because tomorrow night it's not Marquette, who's the best backcourt in the country.
Exactly.
But no, in all seriousness, Cam Jones had 17, 4, and 3. He was 5 for 8 from 3, and he was not close to the best guard on his own team. That belongs to Tyler Kolek, who had 28, 8, 6, and 3 steals. He was 11 for 16 from the floor. He hit 4 threes. He attempted 9 threes, which is a gripe I normally have with Kolek. I don't feel like he's aggressive enough for his own offense. Tonight, he played like he was on a personal mission to make sure Max Abmas knew who the best backcourt in the country was and who the best point guard in the country was. And look, Max Abmas came out firing, which is the only thing I got even a tad right in this game. I said this felt like a game that Abmas shows up for. He did show up for it. He had a bunch of points before the first media timeout. He had 25 points on the night.
He had a 9-0 run himself to start the game.
Yeah, he did 25 points on the night. He was 3 for 8 from 3, 10 for 19 from the floor. But the scary part for Texas is that you got Max Abmas's A game, and you were basically 30 points short of Marquette for most of the evening. How scared should Texas be of that being the outcome here?
I think they should be extremely scared, because I think a lot of, and when I'm saying these phrases in general, honestly, some of this applies to me, because I was very, very high on this Texas team. And a lot of that was factoring in what this backcourt can be with Abmas and Hunter. Hunter is not. Oh, do you know there's another guard on Texas by the name of Tyrese Hunter?
Huh?
Did you see him out there?
Did he play tonight?
I mean, he had 4 assists and 3 rebounds, but he was 0 for 6 from the field in 20 minutes.
Oh, that guy. The Iowa State transfer?
Yeah.
He just got eligible, right?
No, this is second year.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually not satire for what you're saying, because that's kind of what it feels like watching Tyrese Hunter sometimes. And he completely disappeared and did not do anything to help Max Abmas. And to be honest with you, I mentioned this on the preview, but it's time to have the dialogue about Tyrese Hunter, because we have a very large sample size of him not showing up and him not being the player that I think people thought he was going to be. And that lowers Texas's ceiling astronomically. One bright spot for Texas, they were actually able to bring another transfer that they brought in, Weaver, I believe he played at UTSA. Someone might correct me on that, but I believe that's where he played, either UTSA or UTEP, one of those two. But he actually played pretty well off the bench, played more minutes than Hunter in this game. I could see that switch being made because right now Tyrese Hunter is not giving you anything. And that goes on both ends of the floor as well. So as a Texas fan, I think a lot of people are out there being like, when's Dessou going to come back? What's this team going to look like with Dessou in the fold? It doesn't matter what Dessou does, because in order for this Texas team to be what people think they were going to be and be competitive and be a Big 12 contender, they're going to need Tyrese Hunter. And they have yet to get him this season, in my opinion.
Yeah. I just don't know what to make of it anymore. And I don't know who to put the blame on. Like, obviously, I'm making jokes at Hunter's expense, and I don't mean to get too personal with the kid. I like him as a player a lot. We've always been high on him on paper throughout all of his seasons in college basketball. I'm almost wondering if, like, is he almost getting a raw deal constantly being kind of recruited over? Like, I know it was supposed to be him and Marquette together.
I was starting to think that it's like, like the allure when Tyrese Hunter was good at Iowa State, he had the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
He was the guy. And this is the second season where the ball is not in his hands. Like, it was all Marcus Carr. Now it's all Asmus. And not all it is not easy to play off the ball. Some people make it seem like it's just so easy. Like, oh, all you gotta do is play off the ball and play off of other players. Like, you have a great player next to you, just play off him. It's not that easy. That's why a lot of guards and just players in general struggle playing with others, and that doesn't help them reach their potential. So it's a very serious concern in regards to Texas and where they're going to go this season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with it. I would almost like to see him at least be at Texas once, be the trusted go-to guy in a backcourt and just see if it looks any different, because it doesn't look good when the ball's in somebody else's hands and he's the complimentary guy. So the other guy, we're spending a lot of time on Texas. We should spend more time on Marquette, but the other guy I just think deserves like kind of a, hey, this is a little concerning. Dylan Mitchell just hasn't made the jump that I thought he was going to. Now, he's had some great games this season, including a 21-point outing against UConn, where he was one of the best players, if not the best player on the floor for Texas. 8 points in a game on the road at Marquette is not acceptable for a guy that should be an NBA talent at this point, who's in year 2. I've said it over and over again. The most valuable asset in college basketball is NBA talents who decide to return. That has not worked out for Dylan Mitchell at all. In fact, he looks like a guy who's going to be a 4-year player in college at this point, more than he looks like a pro. I don't know who would draft him based on what I've seen. Like, I guess you're still drafting based on upside, but to me, he hasn't shown significantly more than he did last year, even though the numbers are significantly up, and he's just playing more minutes. He looks like the same guy last year playing more minutes. And I think Texas needs more. Texas isn't going anywhere with this roster if Dylan Mitchell is just a guy that's out there and it's just the Max Asmus show. Now, back on the Marquette side, where are you at with Oso? Like, you've praised Oso more than any person in the country has praised Oso, as far as I know. I thought this was a pretty quiet Oso night. It was a good Oso night, but the Oso, is he just like an impact the game without stuffing the box score guy to you?
Yeah, I think he's an impactful guy anytime he's on the court. And in a game today, I think a lot of other guys were hitting. A lot of other guys had really good matchups. He had Caden Shedrick on the other side, who's a very good defensive big. And I just don't think Oso ever really forces anything. I think that he steps up and like pours in big numbers when he needs to. But in a game like this, Tyler Kolek's going, and Tyler Kolek has 28, 8, and 6. And Cam Jones is 5 for 8 from 3. So I think it was just a case of other guys kind of having it going and him not having to do much. He kind of just played his role. And, at the end of the day, Oso ends the game with 9 points, 6 boards, and 3 assists on a very just kind of light night for him. And just in general, Marquette, like you're talking about, they shot almost 51% from the field and 47% from 3 in this game. They made 14 threes in this game. And I mean, they have the ability to do that. They have the ability to get hot like that. They have a lot of guys that can knock down shots. One of the most concerning things for me, while you mentioned the things with Texas and what they're doing offensively, defensively, they have a lot of weak links on that team outside of Caden Shedrick. Like Dylan Mitchell on paper should be a really good defender with his size and athleticism. He's not really. Max Asmus is a non-defender and he's small. And Tyrese Hunter is just a shell of himself right now, both offensively and defensively. So, as the leader of the Rodney Terry fan club, I'm a little bit concerned about the direction and where this team's going and how guys are looking and defensively how they're locked in. And this was really their first real test of the season, and they got an F. So I'm going to be intrigued to see how they bounce back from this. But this was the first real road test of the season for them, and they failed.
Yeah, a lot of teams would fail in this spot. A pissed off Marquette team coming off a loss at Wisconsin back home. But I don't think we should make any excuses for Texas. I thought this was a pretty uninspired performance after they got all the inspiration they needed to open the game for Max Asmus. I mean, you finished the game, essentially on losing the rest of the game by 30 after starting the game 9-0. That's a really, really bad look. I want to end with this. I just came from a different podcast, actually a live show. I was joining with our boy Daniel Greer, who's in the Sleepers Discord, and he runs a show called Grizz 901, which is like a Memphis Grizzlies postgame show. And the Grizzlies played the Pistons tonight, so I joined the show to talk all things Memphis, all things Grizzlies. And at the end of the show, he threw some college basketball questions my way, as he should. And the final question he left me with was, if you could pick 5 teams to win the title, and you could get them at even odds, or you could take the field outside of those 5, which one would you take? And after thinking about it for about 30 seconds, I decided I would take 5 teams. I feel really good that one of 5 teams will win a national championship this year. Marquette was one of my 5 teams, and I just want to make that known. Do you want to guess my 5 teams, actually? I feel like this could be a fun exercise.
I will. And also I will piggyback this with you. If I was picking 5 teams, Marquette would be in my 5. I think you picked Marquette. I think you picked UConn. I think you picked Arizona.
3 for 3. How well do you know me? This is kind of fun.
Did you pick Baylor?
I did not pick Baylor.
Did you pick Creighton?
I did not pick Creighton.
Wow. So for the other
those are the archetypes I always fall for. All offense.
Oh,
flimsy
Purdue.
defense.
Purdue.
I picked Purdue.
Was the last one Illinois?
Mm-mm.
All right, who was it?
It's arguably spicier than Illinois. In fact, it is spicier than Illinois. I picked Florida Atlantic at 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah, I can just see it. So, yeah, but point is, Marquette. I think someone commented on the preview and said, I've never seen a larger Marquette hater than Greg. Not anymore, my friend. Which
I believe.
That might not be a good thing for your Golden Eagles, by the way, if you've seen my results this year with teams I believe in, teams I don't believe in. But, hey, you've impressed me. You've won me over. And on a serious note, I am happy to see Tyler Kolek actually win a point guard on point guard matchup where the other point guard played great. I don't think I've seen that a ton in his career. And not saying he hasn't been the best point guard a lot, but like a lot of times he takes the other guy out of sorts. Tonight he went toe to toe with the best of Max Asmus, and Tyler Kolek was definitively the better player.
Last thing I'll say on this, in regards to Tyler Kolek, sometimes he's so good and so unselfish that he can forget that he's the baddest MF and point guard on a night-to-night basis. My favorite thing about Tyler Kolek is when people question him and you send me the graphic of his run in the Big East at the end of last season in the Big East tournament, where on every single night, Tyler Kolek approached the game like he was the baddest man on the planet. And there was not a person that could stop him and or F with him. He can do that every single night. He's got that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have over a month sample size of it.
Why not do it?
When arguably Marquette was playing better than any team in the country coming into the NCAA tournament last year until he got hurt.
Until he hurt his pinky.
Yeah. Okay. I can't believe now you're going to make me push back on this. Can the baddest MFer in the sport actually forget that he's the baddest MFer in the sport?
In college sports, yes.
Doesn't that make you not the baddest MFer in the sport if you forget that you're the baddest MFer in the sport?
Actually, yeah, it does, because if I was the baddest MFer in the sport, there would be nothing that could deter me from thinking that.
Never.
But it's Tyler Kolek.
Tonight, he was the baddest MFer in this game, and that's all Marquette needed to beat a talented Texas team. Congrats, Marquette. Hang in there, Rodney Terry fans, all two of you. Carter's still carrying the torch for you. Things will be all right.